Hello everyone, welcome to William and the Magic Box. Today on our show, we are going to have Luke. Luke is from London in England in the UK. So let's see what Luke has to say. Enjoy the interview. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Hello Luke, I'm very well. How are you doing today?
Very good, thank you. Very good.
Thank you so much for taking the time for the interview. Thank you very much. Appreciate.
No, I'm looking forward to it.
So how's your day been so far?
Yeah, good. Busy. Just been at work, so not bad. Been at work, and I've just gone and had my third vaccination. So,
Actually, saying that, I just received. Actually, I'm not in London right now. I'm in Canada. I came for Christmas and for New Year's Eve, so I arrived in Canada on Friday. But I arrived 2 days ago, and I received as well the message to book an appointment for my third. And I was like, okay, let me find a date. So I already booked again for January.
Well, I think you left London at a good time. So.
Oh, I mean, I just left London like in the time because Canada authorities they were talking about closing the borders this last past weekend, and I arrived on Friday. So I was like, oh my God. I was like, my goodness, I need to find a way. But anyways, things went right, and I'm like happy to be here.
Good.
Look, before we start the game, just tell me where you're from.
So I'm from Lincolnshire originally. So, but I've been in London for the last 13 years or so.
Wow! And what's the best part of living in London, in your opinion?
I just think there's so much stuff to do, and I love history. So and the fact that wherever you go in London, there's just so much history, so many exciting things happen there. But yeah, I love it. I would struggle to leave, I think.
But all your family are back in Lincolnshire.
Yeah. They're all up in Lincolnshire, so I go visit when I can. But yeah, no, London's home for me. Yeah.
I see. And what do you do for a living, Luke?
I work with charities. So I work for an organisation that basically helps charities sort of fundraise and helps them kind of make the most of what they do.
I see. And right, so just before we start our journey, William the Magic Box, I would like you to tell me something interesting about yourself.
Oh, that's a good question. I was born 3 months early. So I was born when my mum was only 6 months pregnant. Which in the 80s it was quite rare to survive, but yeah, mostly fine. So yeah, yeah.
Oh wow, that's something very interesting for sure. Okay, look, so ready to go on a beautiful journey through your memories in life and to share your point of views?
Excited, very excited.
Welcome to William and the Magic Box. So I've got here my lovely box full of random fun questions. Okay, I'm just gonna play a song now just for us to move a little bit before the first question. Okay, let's do it. Right, look, just before we start the game, through the game, if there is a question that you don't have an answer for, you don't want to answer, always can change, okay? All very friendly, right?
Cool. Yeah, no problem.
First question for you is, what is the biggest difference between you and your best friend?
Ooh, that's really tricky. I guess, so I have two. I guess they're both quite family focused, so they both want children and things like that. One of them has children, the other one doesn't. Yeah, I guess that's the kind of one of the big differences between us is that as we grew up, they realised that's what they wanted, and I realised that's absolutely not what I wanted. So we're still very close, but yeah, kind of they've gone more towards family, and I've gone more towards sort of well, not that really, not having children. Yeah.
I see. And they live in London as well?
No. They both did live in London for quite a long time, but they're both now back in Lincolnshire as well.
I see. Very good. Next question. Let's do it. Right. Next question for you is, what is your favorite TV show?
That's tricky. Of all time, is Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Always been?
Sorry?
Always been your favorite TV show?
Yeah, that's my favorite of all time. Yeah.
And why?
I mean, sort of, it's tricky now because obviously the creator of the show has turned out to be not a particularly pleasant person, but it just had very strong, very strong characters, very strong female characters, which I guess as a, as a gay man was particularly important when I was growing up. It was fun and emotional. I think it kind of, it took the experience that everybody had in high school or secondary school and really did something interesting with the way it kind of introduced these supernatural concepts, but still based around the themes that I think kind of impact everyone at that time of life. So I just think it was very, very clever, very of its time, but yeah, brilliant, really good.
Nowadays, you still watch sometimes?
Yeah. Oh yes. Yep. Still do. If I'm feeling ill or a bit down, then yeah, absolutely.
Very good. Next question, Luke. Let's do it. Right, Luke, before the next question, tell me what do you like the most about your job and what's the most challenging part of it?
Thing I like the most about my job, I like the variety of it. So I really like getting to help all sorts of different charities. So, you know, big international ones who help all sorts of people to kind of small animal shelters and things like that. Most challenging thing, I guess, is it is just the fact that you get faced with very, very strange challenges which you would never expect. So some of these charities are very, very, very specific things, and it's really hard to prepare for what they need you to help them with. So, and that's why I like the job as well, in that there's no set way of doing things. There's no fixed way to do it. Every new project is a challenge and is something interesting. So it's a really difficult thing, but it's also what makes it a worthwhile job.
I see. And through this time that the COVID situation, has been happening for the last 19 months, did it have a big impact in your job, like in a negative way or positive way? How was the situation?
So, interestingly, I was working in kind of a slightly different industry. I was working in web design and for a web design company when this all happened. And they furloughed the account team. And so I decided to look for something else because also I wasn't particularly happy there. So I started this job back in July of last year. And obviously, we were all working from home then, and we stayed working from home as a company until June, July of this year. And then we've been in the office for the last kind of 6 months, and then obviously back home again now. So it's been quite interesting in that I think generally the charity sector is filled with a lot of people who maybe volunteer their time to help out. And generally the people who volunteer are people who have more free time, which tends to be people who have maybe retired or are slightly older. And so I think for them, the switch to working from home and also using Zoom and things like that was a bit bigger. So there was some initial issues with getting people set up with that, but I think people are quite used to it now, sadly.
Yeah, I think it's the way the world is going right now. It's totally different if working from home, Zoom meetings. So I think it's a different world right now, for sure.
Yeah.
Next question for you is, what is your favorite place in the entire world and why?
I think it's Cambodia. And yeah, it's Cambodia, I think, particularly Siem Reap in Cambodia. So before I went to Vietnam and Cambodia, which was, 5 or so years ago now, I'd not really traveled. I'd been to America very briefly, but apart from that, I'd never traveled outside of Europe. So for me, it was really the first time of experiencing different cultures, and having wildly different food and things like that. It was all a massive experience. And in Cambodia, I just found it such an amazing place. oddly, I felt quite at home there. But I just found it a really inspiring place as well, because it's a country where there's an entire generation of people who were kind of killed by the Khmer Rouge and Pol Pot's regime, and yet it's still a kind of vibrant and fun place. Everyone's incredibly friendly, and again, I guess there's such a huge amount of history there, and that you've got these temples that were hidden for centuries that you can go to. So I think it's just a really fascinating place of contrasts. I would love to go back when sort of travel allows again.
I see. Very good. Which year you were there?
Oh, it must have been 4 or 5 years ago now. Maybe 4 years ago.
I see. I've never been to that place. Never been there. I would like to go as well. So many people. I know so many friends that have been there as well, and they just told me like beautiful things about there. So
really wonderful.
My bucket list.
Yeah.
Next question. Right, Luke. Next question for you is: what is your most embarrassing moment?
Ooh, that is a good question. So it was a very long time ago when I was about 9 or 10, but I'm very organised in a lot of things, but I can be quite absent-minded when it comes to sort of myself. So organised at work, relatively organised when it comes to a diary or arriving places on time, but I can be quite forgetful when it comes to sort of things that are just to do with me. And when I was 9 or 10, I was going out to play sports with school, and I hated going out to play sports anyway because I was very bad at it. But I got changed, ran up to the top field to meet everyone else, and I was wearing quite a long t-shirt, and it was when I got up there that I realised I'd just forgotten to put on anything underneath, in front of my whole class. So,
oh my God.
Yeah, it must have been about 25, 26 years ago, but I don't think I've recovered. No.
Oh my Lord, that would be a very embarrassing moment.
Yeah. Oh.
Lucky you, there were no Facebook at the time, like a mobile number, modernity, you'll be in trouble.
Yeah, it was all good.
Oh my God, sometimes when I look back as well, in some like embarrassing moments in my life, like in the past, I go like, oh my God, thank God that time I didn't have any smartphone or anything, because it would be forever. It would be forever in the
Yeah. Relief that didn't exist.
Lucky you. Next question. Let's do it. Okay, Luke, as I can see, you've got a lot of beautiful tattoos. Tell me a little bit about your tattoos.
Yeah, so I've been getting tattoos since I was 17, so 15, 16 years now. I can't tell you how many I have because it genuinely takes me about 5 minutes to count. But yeah, I really love them. I'm quite shy when people first meet me, and I'm not great at making conversation initially. So I think for me, they've really become a way to kind of spark that. If people want to know what I'm interested in, it's on my arms, so it kind of enables conversation, I guess. And yeah, I really like walking around with them kind of on me. I mean, and when I'm out and about or when I'm at work and stuff, I'm normally I dress quite conservatively. I dress like a librarian most of the time, so I'm normally in shirts and a waistcoat, a jumper or something. So I think people tend to be quite surprised as well, and I like having that contrast. It's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I can see this one in your wrist. This one, it's like what's the meaning of this one you have around here? Yeah.
So this one here, this is actually a few things. So it's actually sort of a Viking bracelet.
Okay.
The design of it is based on the crown that the character Sansa wears in the last episode of Game of Thrones, because she was the one who I sort of empathized with the most, I think. So yeah, few reasons. Yeah.
And this one was the latest one that you had?
The latest one is this one here. This.
Oh, actually, I saw on your profile. I think you posted your picture. I saw it.
is the latest. So this was a good 5-hour session a few weeks ago, which was fairly painful, but glad I had it done.
Very good one. And I think tattoos is a way of expressing yourself as well, and the way of, there's a lot of meaning behind, for sure. You know what I mean? That's the good part of tattoos. Next question for you is, do you have any unique ability that you think no one has or you never met before?
Ooh, that is a good question. No, not that I know of. I'm a very quick reader. I think that's my talent that I've had since I was reading before I could talk when I was a child, and I've kept that up. So I can read a novel pretty swiftly. But you know, other people can. But yeah, that's certainly the one that I found the most useful over time. Anyway.
Oh wow, amazing. Do you know what? When I think it was when Harry Potter or something was a premiere of Harry Potter, or I'm not sure, I think it was Harry Potter, and they were showing on TV, it was the news, I think everyone was expecting something to come out. And there was this lady, I'll never forget that, and I never knew about that either. There was a lady, she was like a fast reader, and she was literally, she opened the book and she was just like this, passing her finger, and she was like turning by the page. I was like, oh my God, what's that? And I couldn't believe. And after she was talking about how was the book or something, and I was like, oh my God, I never knew that.
So I think, I think, yeah, there are, so most people when they read, kind of read it in their head, if that makes sense. So they're kind of, they hear a voice and they're saying it. Whereas I don't, and I think quite a few people don't. So I guess it enables you to read a bit quicker. Yeah, but yeah, that's always been one of my big pastimes as well. So yeah.
Good one, very good. Next question, let's do it. Luke, next question for you is, what does your best friend do that comforts you the most?
Ooh, good question. So I guess of the two, both of them are very grounded and very, very down to earth, and very realistic as well. So that, I think I need that in my life. I need an anchor. And you know, my husband is great at being that as well. But yeah, kind of having that, being able to kind of ground you and kind of calm you down when needed. Certainly not so much now, but I've kind of not so much now because I'm on medication, but like I've suffered with depression and anxiety since I was in my, I guess, early teens. And I had an autism diagnosis a year or so ago as well, and the two tend to go hand in hand. So they have always just been very good at kind of calming down, talking to me normally, and kind of encouraging me to get on with whatever I'm doing. So I think that the most, to be honest, I'm not a particularly emotional person, so it's not really for emotional chats or for anything like that. It's always just been for that kind of I guess a safety net and a grounding influence. Yeah.
I see. And being gay, Luke, for you, did you always have support of your family? Is always a normal thing for you as a child, growing up, or did you have any kind of, as like all of us, most of us, we always have some challenge moments as a teenager or as a child being gay? How was your situation?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I mean, I am very close to my family, and I was raised by my parents and by my grandparents as well, because my parents were very young when they had me. So it's an interesting one. I mean, I knew I was gay from, I don't know, when I was 5 or 6, maybe quite young. But I never really thought my parents or family would have an issue with it. But I guess growing up in what was sort of a sort of Midlands town, there was a lot of, in the kind of early 90s, mid 90s, there was a lot of, you know, being homophobic was kind of cool when you were at school. So there was a lot of that talk in the playground. there was a lot of that talk even on television. On television, you know, gay men were only ever shown as kind of quite loose-moraled or manipulative or villainous or something, and it didn't really sit with who I knew I was. So I found that tricky. But in terms of coming out to family and friends, no, I mean, they all knew. I don't think it was a surprise to anyone. So it wasn't really a coming out. It was more of a just confirming what everyone already knew. So that was, to be honest, that went so well that I was a little disappointed, because I was a teenager. I wanted some drama, and instead everyone was just like, yeah, we know. So, yeah.
You're ready to show off some drama, to stand up for yourself, yeah?
Yeah, but no, my parents genuinely shrugged and were just like, yeah, we know, and then carried on talking about what they were talking about before. So, yeah.
You should say, like, you know what? I'm not gay because I was expecting some drama behind. I was expecting I'm not gay anymore.
Yeah, I'll go back in the closet and come out when you're ready for a big argument.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's funny. Next question. Right, Luke, before the next question, as you said before, how much you like being in London. London is your home now. But what do you find most challenging living in London?
Yeah, that's a good question. I guess the fact that you can't really walk anywhere. So, you know, having to get transport everywhere is a bit of a pain. And it's something I've never really thought about until the last couple of years, when obviously whenever you get on transport, there's a bit of a risk with COVID. And obviously, cycling is an option, but then the roads are so busy that, you know, it can be a bit dangerous. So I guess that can be a bit challenging. And also, I guess the scope of London and kind of the size of it is, it's one of those things that I only ever think about when I'm outside it. But say when I was growing up, if somebody asked me to go pop over for a coffee and it took me an hour to get to them, I would say, no, that's ridiculous. You know, you live in another county. I'm not going to come visit you. Whereas in London, completely normal. Like, if it takes you less than 45 minutes to get anywhere, you've had a good day. So that's thing that I mean, I don't find it challenging. I'm used to it, and anywhere I can read a book on the way, I'm happy. So, but yeah, I think that's something that it sometimes takes people a while to get used to as well, because people arrive and sort of think everything's quite near each other, and it's really not.
No, it's not. It sometimes can be a challenge to get somewhere as well, because of the, you know what I mean, some works as well. They close some lines, and there's always some challenge. Yeah, for sure. Next question for you is, who do you count the most for help overall?
I mean, my husband, I guess. Yeah.
Wow. How long have you been together for?
Almost 9 years now.
Wow, amazing.
Together almost 9 years. We got married in June of last year. So,
congratulations. Congratulations.
But no, he's very organised, very calm, and is good at sort of. I can be a little bit chaotic, so he's very good at reining that in a bit, which is good.
Amazing. And so far, what's the most beautiful lesson have you learned from him during these past 9 years?
Trust. I think he's. I'm able to do that, and I don't think I was before. So that's the big one, I think.
Oh, sweet. Very sweet. Next question, Luke. Ready?
Yep.
Let's do it. Okay. Next question is, if you could go anywhere in the world right now, where would you go and why?
New York, I think. I went to New York when I was 18, and it was great, but I was a bit too young to appreciate it, and obviously wasn't able to go to a lot of places because I was very young and didn't really have any money. I mean, I don't really have any money now, but I don't know, it's one of those places that I found really magical to go to, because it was the first time I'd left Europe. I flew out on my own.
Wow.
Get completely lost in JFK Airport, but I stayed out there with one of my best friends who moved out there for about 6 months after school. But I think, I don't know, being in the UK and loving kind of you know, you don't have a choice but to kind of watch lots of American culture when you're growing up. And I think being in the place, but for me, was the center of so many fictional things, and getting to experience that was amazing. And I'd just like to go back and experience it more, I guess, and go to, you know, more places that I know about now, or kind of, you know, and go to different bars and restaurants and museums and things like that. So yeah, I would really like to go out there again, and hopefully will next year.
Very good. Next question. Let's do it. Look, before the next one, we are, you know what I mean? Actually, this interview gonna go after Christmas. But yeah. For you, what's the meaning of Christmas? Did you always like Christmas during this festive time? What's your approach about Christmas?
Yeah, so I guess for me nowadays, anyway, I think Christmas is about being with family, and about kids as well. I mean, when I was a child, it was a really magical thing, it was a magical thing, but it was also a really busy time for me. I used to sing in a church choir when I was a kid, so
wow.
Christmas was always just incredibly busy. You know, you'd have to be at church at midnight on Christmas Eve, and then you were at church Christmas morning, etc. So it was always nice to be with the family, but it was always quite a hectic time. Whereas I think now for me it's about I guess relaxation, about you know, watching. So we have two nieces, and they're 7 and 5. So getting them, you know, watching them open their presents and being excited and that kind of thing is I think what it's all about, and just getting a chance to relax and have a break. And the fact that it looks like, you know, this year will hopefully, but it looks like we will be allowed to be with family. You know, will be really nice. Although, you know, last year we had Christmas on our own, and it was actually very pleasant. So, but yeah, I think just family and taking stock and relaxing is what it's about for me. Yeah.
Very good. Next question for you is, look at this question. I need to change. Look at this question. Of course, I'm gonna change this question. Of course. Next question for you is, what season of the year you feel more connected with, and why?
Autumn, definitely.
Why is that?
I think I'm just quite an autumnal person, you know. I'm not a huge. I love summer. I love being able to see friends in parks and gardens, and you know, but autumn for me, I just feel a lot more comfortable. You know, I like dark evenings. I like sitting by a fire with a cup of tea, etc. I like scarves. I like big jumpers. I love the colours. All of my favourite colours in kind of autumn colours. And I think it can be a really cozy, lovely time. I mean, the first couple of months of winter I like, but then I think January and February and even March can be a bit gloomy sometimes. So I think autumn as well, it's kind of it feels like a good length. September still has that sort of summer warmth, and then October and November it gets a bit colder, but it's still nice. You can wander around in a jumper and a jacket without getting too cold. And yeah, autumn, 100%.
Is your birthday around autumn time as well?
No, my birthday's in summer actually. My birthday's in June.
Wow.
But interestingly, because of me being 3 months early, my birthday should have been in autumn. So maybe it's something to do with that.
There we go. I'm just asking that because somebody told me a few years ago that when you were born, you feel very connected with the season when you were born. And for me, it works perfectly because my birthday is in November and I love the autumn. Autumn is for me, is the most beautiful season of the year. The change of the color, as you said, the crispy, you know, it's not very cold, it's not very hot, it's kind of, you know what I mean, mild. It's just the colors as well. I just love it. Autumn is a beautiful season. There's a lot of things changing, you know what I mean?
Agreed, yeah.
I love it. Next question. Ready? Let's do it. Okay, Luke, next question for you is, tell us about your first kiss and your first love.
Ow. First kiss. Oh, this is embarrassing. So first kiss, I must have been about 14, And I was doing a show in the local amateur dramatic thing, and we somehow managed to get hold of a bottle of sort of cheap sparkling white wine. We shared that between about 5 of us, but none of us had really drunk before, so got a bit tipsy, and we played Spin the Bottle. And my first kiss was with a girl called Hannah Espin, who I believe is married with children and is a doctor now. So
Wow.
But I think it might have been her first kiss too, because when we went to school on the Monday, I didn't want to tell anyone, and she told everyone. So then everyone knew. First love. That's a good question. I mean, it's difficult to say. I had crushes on people when I was at school. So there was a girl called Hannah Stratford who was incredibly cool, and I definitely thought I was in love with her for a while. But whether I was or not, I don't really know. But yeah, she was very cool. She was very hip. She was a really good actress, and she was very tall. And I'm quite short, so I don't know. I thought that was quite cool. So yeah, and I would have been the same age, if not a little bit older, so maybe 14, 15 or so, yeah.
Oh, sweet. Actually, my first love was a girl as well, my first love. Yeah, oh, yes, absolutely. I think, and I remember, it's funny enough, it's a very dramatic story, because it's funny now, but at the time it was very dramatic. I'll tell you why. Her name is Larissa. I know her well now, and she's a lesbian now, but at the time she didn't know she was a lesbian. Look how funny. Anyway, she used to sit in the classroom in front of me, and I remember she had this long hair, beautiful hair, and all the time touching her hair. And I just loved when she was around. I loved her company. I was literally in love. I was 12 years old. And one day, do you know this little, when you put your pencil, your pen, what's the name of this, like the little pencil?
Yeah, pencil case, yeah.
Yeah, pencil case, yeah. And genuinely, I just wrote William and Larissa. And I made like a little heart. Yeah. And one day, a friend of mine, she's an evil. Actually, I'm still friends with her. We are very close. And she said to me, William, can you borrow me like a pen? I said, oh yeah, just take in my pen case. She opened the case and she saw William and Larissa. Do you know what she did? She stand up in the classroom and she said, oh my God, William loves Larissa. Oh, look at that. Oh my God. My head went like this. And Larissa, she didn't know like that I was in love with her. Yeah. So she got embarrassed. I was embarrassed. She stopped talking to me. Can you imagine? Stopped talking to me because we had this connection between us. She loved being in my company. I love her, but she got so embarrassed with people laughing. You know, children making fun, teenage, you know what I mean? So she stopped talking to me, can you imagine? But after that, funny enough, a few years after, I was living in another city, and she, you know what I mean, from Brazil, the same city, the same capital of my state. So I was living there, I was there like an adult, right? I was 18, and she was 18 as well. So somehow we met each other, and we started laughing, talking about the past and everything. We got connected again. And I was like, oh my God, how amazing. But yeah, she was my first love. And so yeah, my first love was a girl as well.
Nice.
Right, I have 3 questions left for you, okay? Let's do it. Right, next question for you is, what is one movie you could watch over and over again?
Ooh, there's a few. I mean, I'm a massive Star Wars fan. I always have been. So The Empire Strikes Back is definitely up there for me. But then also I would say, so I guess I have 3 favorite films. The Empire Strikes Back, The Prime of Miss Jean Brodie. I adore that. I love the book. I love Maggie Smith. I think it's wonderful. And Muriel's Wedding. They're kind of my 3 favorites. Yeah.
Which one you watched the latest one? The last time you watched it between them?
Oh, it'll be The Empire Strikes Back. It'll be the most recent. Yeah. Because so I guess that is the film I go to if I don't have anything else to do. I'll put that on because it's always brilliant.
Absolutely. Good. 2 questions left. Let's do it. Right, before the next question, tell me what's the most positive thing you took out of this challenge journey regarding the COVID situation in the world since last year?
Yeah. So I think, I think my job, that's probably the biggest thing, in that I ended up working in a sector I really, really love. And I guess the other thing was getting on top of my mental health as well. I've had various issues with it in the past, and then when lockdown hit, I was also grieving quite a close family member, and I went to the doctor and said, I'm really not feeling good, and they were able to kind of help me, and I think put me in a far better place. I'm a far more relaxed and kind of calm person now due to the medication I'm on. So yeah, I think those two have really made a massive difference in my life. Yeah.
Very good. Next question for you is, what was the biggest punishment have you ever received?
So I was a very well-behaved child, very, 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 very well-behaved. So I mean, to the extent where I think my parents thought I was a bit strange, because I just read all the time. So I think a lot of the standard punishments you would try and give a child, like go to your room, etc., that was what I wanted. Getting sent to bed early, loved it, great. So I think it was quite hard to punish me. And to be honest, I didn't really do anything wrong. I've always been quite a rule follower. God, I mean, I probably had my game console taken off me. What would it have been? A Sega Mega Drive. I probably would have had that confiscated or something. I probably would have been told off for being mean to my younger brother, because there are 10 years between me and my brother. We're very close now, but when we were growing up, I sort of terrorized him a bit. So yeah, probably not being allowed to play on the Mega Drive or the PlayStation for a few days, I think would probably have been it. Yeah.
Very good. Very good. Ready for the last one?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Last question, Luke. But before the last question, when you think back a lot about regards the place where you were born, Lincolnshire, like your childhood, what's the best memories you have from the place, your hometown?
I think the thing I always consider myself really, really lucky about is the fact that because my parents had me when they were very young, and I wasn't planned, I was very unexpected. So as a result, they had to work really hard to kind of put a roof over our heads and to put food on the table, etc. And so my father's parents really stepped in, and certainly a lot of my childhood was spent with them. I saw them every day. And I think for me, a lot of those happy memories growing up were with them, really. My grandmother, when I was very young, I mean, she was a really intelligent lady who used to sort of take me into town and would take me, we did a lot of the church, so I spent a lot of time sort of helping her dust the church. And yeah, I think being with her, being with my parents, being my grandfather, I think it was really wonderful being in a small town when I was a child. I absolutely loved that. And it was only as I got older and I kind of, realised that maybe I didn't fit in with the town so much when I was kind of in my later teens, that I wanted to get out and leave. But no, it was incredibly happy childhood. And I think, that element of people being close. Of my grandparents lived across the road from us when I was growing up, and so knowing that I could wander over there whenever I liked, and almost having two sets of parents, I think I was incredibly lucky for that. So that's really what made my childhood very special. Yeah.
Oh, very sweet. Last question for you now. What is the funniest gift have you ever received?
Ooh.
You're looking around there to see if you can find something funny.
I'm trying to think. Well, there's an interesting one. So when I was 13 or 14, because I sang in the church choir, the vicar at the church said that we got confirmed into the kind of Christian faith, then we would get to go on a free weekend away. So I obviously signed up. The weekend away was fairly terrible, but I signed up and I was confirmed, and I wasn't really a religious person then, and I certainly am not now. But my godfather came, and I hadn't seen him in a few years, and he presented me with a sort of beautiful blue box. It was a Tiffany's box, and I was very excited. And in it was a solid silver harmonica that he'd had engraved with the kind of date of confirmation and my name and stuff. And I just remember thinking it was really strange. I don't play the harmonica. I wasn't allowed to learn on that harmonica because it was solid silver, and so my parents instantly put it in the safe. But also, it might have been valuable, but I could never sell it because it had been engraved. So it was incredibly useless, I think, was the main thing about it. Like, you know, I love my godfather, but it was just such an odd thing. And obviously, you know, I was 13, 14. Like, I would have been happy with money or a book token. It seemed such an odd gift. So I think that's one that has always tickled me. I mean, I have it in a drawer somewhere. It's you know, yeah, just I don't know, because it was from Tiffany's. It must have cost an absolute fortune. But yeah, just very.
Maybe he gonna watch the interview now. He's gonna go like, actually, that was the meaning why.
Yeah, maybe that'd be nice. Maybe I'll see if it kind of gets him to remember what it was for. Yeah.
Oh, sweet, very sweet. Look, it's not the end yet. Okay, let's play now the word association game. Okay, I'm going to give away some words. Just tell me one word that comes to your mind. Quick thinking. Let's start with life.
Death.
Love.
Loss.
Money.
Books.
Family.
Care.
How about sex?
Good.
Politics.
Bad.
Religion.
Belief.
Okay. How about fear?
Loneliness.
Friendship.
Love.
Desire.
Passion.
Regret.
Sorrow.
Success.
Joy.
Wish.
Life.
Happiness.
Home.
One word for London.
Excitement.
One word for Lincolnshire.
Love.
And the last one now, England. One word.
History.
Beautiful. Actually, another one. Royal family. One word.
Tradition.
Good one. Right, let's pretend now I'm going to meet your lovely husband for a coffee, and I'm going to ask your lovely husband, tell me what is the most beautiful thing about Luke, and tell me something that he still needs to improve on, to work on. What do you think your husband will tell me?
So I know that I guess this almost covers both. He thinks I'm too selfless. So I'm not very good with money in the sense that I give quite a lot to charities, etc. I'm quite caring, I guess. So he definitely likes that, but also I need to do it a bit less. And in terms of something I need to get better at, I like things to be very neat and very orderly. But I'm very similar to Monica from Friends in that everything's neat and orderly, but if you open any of my cupboards, everything will fall out because I just stuff it in and shut the door. And I guess in a way I'm quite materialistic as well, so maybe less of that, because I really like having books, I really like having clothes. So it means that, the walls are full of books, my wardrobe doors don't close because they've just stuffed so many clothes in. So that getting a bit more minimalistic, I think would go down well.
And if I would ask the same question to your brother, would it be the same answer?
No. Gosh, what would my brother say? Well, I mean, I'm broader than my brother, so my brother likes to tease me about being fat, which is nice. But no, it's brothers. His hairline is receding more than mine, so it's fine.
I don't believe you said that.
So, yeah, probably that. In terms of good things, yeah, I mean, I'm pretty caring, so I think I've helped him with quite a few bits. So that, I hope.
Very good, very good. Right, let's play now Luke in the magic box, and you can ask me a question. But before that, let's play the music one more time.
All right.
Right, Luke, you can ask me a question now.
If you could meet any historical figure, alive or dead, who would it be?
Good question. Put me on the spot now. Right, I would meet there's a controversy actually. Who invented the airplane? Yeah, they say that there's the American brothers, and you have Santos Dumont, the Brazilian guy, Santos Dumont. That's I think I'm so fascinated with airplanes that I think I would if I could meet him, to what was going on in his mind regarding that, you know what I mean, to create, or even the brothers, if they say the brothers, you know what I mean, the American brothers. I would if I would be able to sit down with them and just to have a talk and explain where the idea come from, what was the meaning of you know what I mean, invented those the airplane, or you know what I mean, when they started the whole thing, just to have an idea how something so powerful and big and heavy can, you know what I mean, can fly, and what was the meaning, what was the idea, how the idea came from. And I think if I could meet someone, if you could meet all the Brazilian ones, Santos Dumont, or you know the brothers, I think I would have a talk with them just to see what was the idea behind and what the creation. And nowadays, you know what I mean, it's let's say almost impossible to live without the airplane. So I think I would, if I could have the opportunity to meet them, I think I would. Yeah, that would be
nice.
Yeah. And a lot of others as well, for sure. You know, there's so many things in the world that we, you know what I mean, we are so grateful to those people who made the history or who left their signature in the world. If you could have sit down there just to understand a little bit about the idea, or about what was going on in their mind when they made history, you know what I mean, what was the idea behind, I think we would learn a lot, even more. Yeah. You know what I mean? For sure. Yeah. Luke, did you have a good time? Did you enjoy the interview?
I had a really good time. It was great fun.
Thank you so much. Thanks for being so sweet. As soon as we approached you for the very first time, you were very kind and very sweet. You're like, oh yes, let's do it. Let's do, why not? So I think it's, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Not at all. Great fun.
But before you go, I would like to share a positive message or a positive quote, something that inspires you in life.
Ooh. So the person I get compared to by my friends is, and by my husband actually, is Paddington Bear, because I'm quite small, I'm quite hairy, I'm very well-meaning, but I often find myself getting into trouble with, you know, I don't know, I'm quite clumsy, so I'm quite clumsy, so I often end up in kind of situations because of that. And I think his whole thing was kind of embracing the fact that he's just a bear. So, you know, you don't have to be anything more than what you are. I think, you know, people are going to love you if you're yourself. So I think that's the key thing. It's you know, not trying to be anything bigger or greater than that, and just, you know, being the best person you can possibly be. I think that's what's key for me anyway.
Totally agree. I think when you are yourself, it doesn't matter if you're gonna fit here or there or how people are gonna see you. But if you're yourself and you are happy with yourself, that's the main thing. You know what I mean? Of course, if there's no whatever you're gonna be, there's always someone who's gonna point you for some reason. There's always someone who's gonna like you and love you for some reason as well. So take the chance, be yourself, and the ones who love you, they're gonna be around you. The one who doesn't like you for some reason or another, they're gonna go away. So that's the meaning. Totally agree. I like what you said.
Exactly.
Luke, it was a pleasure. Thank you so much. Let's organize something next year to meet up for a coffee. You know, we're in the same city. My God.
Absolutely.
So let's organize that, okay? Have a great Christmas. Enjoy your New Year, and you keep in touch.
Well,
okay?
Brilliant.
Take care. Bye-bye. Regards. Bye.
So, did you like the show? Don't forget to give a like, to share it, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to be part of the show as well, first, subscribe to our channel, and after that, just go to our website, www.williamandthemagicbox.com, and send us a request saying why you'd like to be part of the show. And I see you there. Bye bye, see you next time.